Hi there, Julio here. Welcome back to Go Spaghettio, the early childhood approach to social, emotional, behavioral, psychological well-being, the application of rational emotive behavior therapy created by Albert Ellis, the application of his theory in teaching practice in the early childhood setting. Today's topic is about Jonno. Jonno, not his real name, is a child that I worked with, like many others, as a counsellor in a school, and this is called Jonno is Not a Giraffe. Just a reminder that rational emotive behavior therapy is the theory that Go Spaghettio is based on, but within that theory is the counselling paradigm, the ABC theory of emotional disturbance, which we've spoken about many times. That's the paradigm or the framework I use as a rational emotive behavior counsellor in schools. And of course we've got rational emotive behavior education, which is the general application of REBT principles in daily practice. So in an ideal world, if every classroom is teaching basic REBT based principles in daily practice, then the children will learn about their thinking nature, that thinking, feeling and behaviour are all interconnected, and that should the child need to come for some counselling support, we have the tools with which to work on their problems or their perceived problems or what ails them from their perspective. So we've got rational emotive behaviour therapy, the theory. We've got rational emotive behavior education, the application of REBT principles in daily teaching practice, and we have rational emotive behavior counselling, where we employ the ABC theory of emotional disturbance paradigm in the counselling context. And just a reminder about the ABC theory of emotional disturbance paradigm, there is a D and E component to it also, and that's explained here in this graphic. So we've started off with Albert Ellis's theory, and the ABC theory of emotional disturbance is provided by that theory. And the paradigm is a 5-stage process of developed to identify why a person feels as strongly as they feel and why they've chosen the behaviors that they've chosen in response to an activating event or a happening in their lives. So we have what happened. So with Jonno, it would be something happened, what happens? Can you tell me about it? What do you think about what happened? So something happened. You think this about what's happened. C is how do you feel and how do you behave as a consequence of A and B. And D is, once we've passed out, P-A-R-S-E-D, passed out, the irrational or brain bully habits of thinking or success stopper habits of thinking that the child is engaging, we then start to challenge those ideas with the evidence. So we say to the child, it seems to be that you have a thinking rule, which is a brain bully thinking rule. It's a success stopper rule. This is what it is. Let's have a look at it and let's see if it's true or not. So if we successfully dispute the irrational habit of thought or thinking identified, then in time, with a lot of work and effort, the child will have a new effective philosophy. They'll change the way they think. We would have recognized or identified an irrational sense, an irrational belief at B, a brain bully belief. We would have successfully challenged it, deconstructed it, and helped the child reconstruct a better way of thinking. So that's the ABC theory of emotional disturbance. And of course, when you're working with the child, you won't necessarily start off with what happened. You could. It might be you start off at C, or how are you feeling? Or it seems like you're feeling not so good at the moment. Can you describe how you feel? And they'll say, well, this is how I feel. And you say, well, is there a reason why you feel like that and acted like that? Yeah, because, this happens. So the strength of emotion associated with the event is linked to the brain bully success stopper irrational way of thinking, habits of thinking that the child employs at B. So the role of the counsellor is to help the child identify what that is and to decide whether or not it's a useful or helpful success helper, a brain friend way of thinking, or is it a brain bully success stopper way of thinking. So that's the ABC theory of emotional disturbance. It's a very handy teaching and counselling tool. So this is the rational emotive behaviour counselling process using the ABC theory of emotional disturbance as discussed before. And as a counsellor, I'm interested in what kinds of belief constructions that are in place, and particularly in terms of the self or the idea of their self that they are constructing. Are they an okay self? Are they constructing a sense of self that depends on the approval of others, or how well or badly they achieve at their tasks or goals in life? And the process is to listen very carefully to what the child is saying and reflect back to the child what you've heard, just to make sure that what you're hearing is you've picked up on what the child is saying, and also to assure the child that we are listening to them. We want to identify irrational brain bully success stopper habits of thinking. In the discussion, identified in this discussion, we want to challenge the veracity of what they're thinking, provide the evidence that might challenge that the veracity of those brain bully habits of thinking. We want to identify them, we want to deconstruct them, and we want to help the child reconstruct or rebuild healthy success helper ways of thinking. And then we give them homework. Homework is very, very important. It's not enough just to say, well, look, brain bullies making you feel like this. We need to change brain bully thinking. But unless the child has something to work on when they leave the counselling session, then they'll come back again with the same habits of thinking. So we need to change those habits of thinking. We want to shift them from brain bully to brain friend, success stopper to success helper, and that comes with a lot of practice. So here we have an example of a counselling interaction between the counsellor, myself, and a child. This is basically the real life situation for a child. It's quite often the case that children will come to you claiming that they're unlikable, no one likes them, or they're dumb, or they're stupid, or whatever. And this is an example of a counselling session with a child. This child's called Jonno, and it's titled "Jonno is not a giraffe." So the counselling interaction might go something like this. You might ask, how are you feeling, Jonno? And Jonno might say, well, I feel really pretty sad because I'm naughty. I'd say, well, how sad are you? I would use the emotional thermometer. Are you 2 out of 10 sad? Or are you 7 out of 8 out of 10 sad? How do you know you're naughty? What's the evidence? What are you basing your sense of naughtiness on? And the evidence is I get told off all the time. By whom? Well, my dad, my mum, my teacher. They say you're naughty. Well, that's interesting, Jonno. Are you a giraffe by any chance? And the child looks quizzically at you and laughs or thinks you're a bit nuts. And Jonno says, no, I'm not a giraffe. I said, well, how do you know? And Jonno will provide the evidence that proves categorically that he's not a giraffe. He hasn't got spots, hasn't got long legs, long neck, doesn't live in Africa, and doesn't eat leaves. So of course you aren't a giraffe, I say, but you're not naughty either. You're not a giraffe and you're not naughty. Can you act like a giraffe? Oh yes, of course I can, Jonno says. But does that make you a giraffe? And Jonno says, no, of course not. I'm just pretending to be a giraffe. I'm acting it out. Well, can you act naughty? Yes, I can. I can behave in a naughty way, or I can do things that other people might not like, or I can do things that might not be acceptable. So I would say, well, yeah, you can act it, but that doesn't make you all naughty. Just like you can act like a giraffe, but you're not a giraffe. Do you get it? So this idea of being naughty is different to the idea of behaving in a naughty way. And Jonno, it would help Jonno if he understood the difference between the two. Do you understand what we're talking about, Jonno? Oh, kind of. Then I say acting naughty doesn't make you naughty. It's something that you do. It's not who you are. You're always worthwhile crocodile, as I would say, referring to the Go Spaghettio Success Helper chart. But you have homework to do, and we'll chat again soon. Now, the homework would be for Jonno to check what he's telling himself. If he starts to say things like, I'm naughty or I'm dumb or I'm stupid, for him to remember, well, I'm not a giraffe, so I'm not, and I'm not stupid and I'm not dumb and I'm not naughty. I am not any word that people use to describe me. I can act these things, I can behave in certain ways, but that doesn't make me naughty, bad, dumb, stupid, a giraffe. So, Jonno is not a giraffe. When we say that Jonno is not a giraffe, we're applying the rational emotive behavior therapy principle of unconditional self-acceptance, meaning I accept me even when I act in ways that aren't acceptable. I am not my actions, and of course that's I'm worthwhile crocodile thinking. So part of the homework we referred to in the last slide, it would be for Jonno to practice I'm worthwhile thinking. I'm worthwhile crocodile thinking. So the Go Spaghettio Success Helper chart here is designed to teach kids that their feelings and their behaviors are connected to the way they think. They can think in success helpful ways, or they can think in self-stopper, self-helpful, self-defeating ways. Yes. So brain friend, brain bully, brain success helper, success stopper, rational and irrational. We want kids to understand the power of their thinking about things, their appreciation or their perception of events, and how that affects how they feel and behave. So that's the idea behind the Go Success Helper chart, which itself is based on rational emotive behavior therapy. And Albert Ellis said the future of psychotherapy is in the school system. So there's no better place than introduce those ideas or that philosophy than in the early childhood context, where we can help children think about or learn about their thinking nature. The Go Spaghettio song reflects the Success Helper chart we just looked at, the Go Spaghettio approach to social emotional learning. It talks to the children's sense of happiness or prospective happiness, curiosity, willingness to engage and take healthy risks. And it's also alerting children to the fact that there's going to be lots of good stuff, but there's going to be some not so good stuff, but that we can deal with it if we apply the principles we've taught through the Go Spaghettio approach, the chart we talked about before. Go Spaghettio, you can do your best, clap your hands and touch the sky. Give it a try, banana pie. Go Spaghettio, you can do your best, Sets the day up well. So just to revisit Jonno and his situation, him feeling that he is a naughty person, and we were talking to him in terms of him not being a giraffe. So here's a little poem to that effect, and this would be part of Jonno's homework, to read this or get someone to read it to him, and if he remembers any bits of it, to practice it, and also to talk about it again when next we meet in the counselling chat that we will have in the future. So it goes something like this. You can call me anything, like you're an African giraffe, but that would be real silly. Then I would just laugh. A giraffe is tall and gangly. It eats leaves from the tops of trees with its very long neck, and it has 4 wobbly knees. Same if you call me dumb. That would seem silly too, 'cause I'm not any word that you think might be true. I can't be dumb or a tall African giraffe, so I'll just remind myself and smile and say over and over again that I'm worthwhile, crocodile. So again, this invokes the philosophy of general semantics theory that created by Alfred Korzybski, who said that it's dangerous when we think we can be the word ascribed us. So here Jonno thinks that he is the word naughty, whereas we're trying to get him to understand, no, you can do naughty, but you can't be naughty. So Albert Ellis said a while ago, a few decades ago, that the future of psychotherapy is in the classroom, and Go Spaghettio, or the Go Spaghettio approach to social emotional learning, is designed to do just that, to introduce to children the idea that they are constructivists, that they are thinkers, they are philosophers, and they can construct or be in the process of constructing healthy, helpful philosophies about themselves and others and the world in which we live, or they can do otherwise. One's success helper thinking, brain friend thinking, rational thinking, and the other's brain bully, success stopper, irrational thinking. So we want our children to be aware of the influence thinking or believing has on how we feel and how we behave in response to day-to-day or life's events. And we want to put them in a place where they can best manage that psychologically. So Albert Ellis said a long time ago, I think the future of psychotherapy and psychology is in the school system. We need to teach every child how to really seriously disturb himself or herself and how to overcome disturbance when it occurs. So that's the focus or the emphasis here is on helping children help themselves be less disturbable, because they know that they could be making something or thinking something is worse than it actually is. So I hope you found this useful, interesting, and if you apply it in practice, let me know how you go, and give us the thumbs up, and write a comment if you feel so inclined. But until next time, have a go, Spaghettio, and what's the other one? Oh yes, give it a try, banana pie. All the best. Bye.